You're welcome back to the show, Morning Crossfire 99.3 Nigeria Info. Good to have you joining us. If you are just joining us on the show, it is the last leg, and this is a time where we have a panelist to discuss a critical issue on the show. We'll also take your opinion on Facebook, YouTube, where we're live. You can join us and also listen to us anywhere you are on our website, nigeriainfo.fm. We're live right now. You can watch us and also leave us a comment on WhatsApp. The number is 08095975805. Welcome to the show. I am Wemimo Adewuni.
And I am Sheriff Quadry. Remember that we are streaming live on Facebook and, of course, YouTube. If you're not following us on Facebook yet, please do that. Nigeria Info FM Lagos is how you can get us on Facebook, or you can just type Nigeria Info 99.3. You get us on Facebook. Follow us there. And on YouTube, you can subscribe to our channel, Nigeria Info FM Lagos. On YouTube is where you can see us live in the studio this morning. Welcome aboard. It promises to be interesting, really.
That's right. And today we're taking a look at the first 100 days in office of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. And we have joining us on the phone Mr. Gbenga Omotosho, who's a Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Lagos State. Good morning, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Thank you so much. We also have on the phone Mr. Gbenga Onitilo. Thank you for joining us on the show also. Hello, Mr. Gbenga.
Good morning. Hello.
Okay, we have two Mr. Gbengas on the phone.
Right.
I was wondering whether...
Oh, goodness. We're going to have to use the last name. Yes. So, Mr. Onitilo, are you on the line?
Mr. Onitilo can't hear us.
Okay, we'll probably have to reach him again.
That's right.
Rotimi Sankore is here with us in the studio. Rotimi, welcome back.
Yeah,
and our State House correspondent, Maureen Ogolo, is also live with us in the studio. Maureen, good morning. Okay, so let's kickstart this. The aims of this administration is summarized in the word themes. I mean, every Lagosian by now would know themes. This is what Governor Sanwo-Olu had pushed for during the campaigns and in the first 100 days. And we'll take a look at the idea of celebrating 100 days in office by governors has kind of come to stay in Nigeria since we moved back to democratic governance in 1999. 29 state governors were inaugurated on May 29th this year, and it is kind of traditional for our leaders to appraise themselves, their successes and failures in the first 100 days. Today we look at the sixth elected governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu's milestone over the past 100 years. Previously, on the 20th of August, we did a review of his 84 days in office with a profile assessment of his proposed cabinet members while paying attention to his election promises during his political campaign in December 2018, with a focus on the 5-point economic blueprint for Lagos.
Well, meanwhile, questions have trailed the minds of some Lagosians, including political observers, particularly due to the political turbulence Sanwo-Olu faced before emerging in the last gubernatorial election. Recall that when gearing up for the governorship primary in October 2018, former Lagos State Governor Ambode had claimed that his only opponent for the All Progressives Congress's governorship ticket, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, was neither fit nor a proper candidate to occupy the seat he, Ambode, wanted for a second term then. Now, no fewer than 7 All Progressives Congress chieftains were on the queue for the governorship position. The lot fell on Sanwo-Olu. Lagos had the fortune of being governed by successive governors who left indelible marks in the state.
Let's start off with Mr. Gbenga Omotosho, who's a Commissioner for Information and Strategy. On the 6th of September, that was last Friday, the governor at the Blue Roof of Lagos Television in Ikeja gave an appraisal of his successes over the past 100 years. Can you tell us what those milestones have been in the first 100 days, sir?
In the first 100 days have been highly remarkable. And like the governor said, so many projects have been commissioned. And above all, the support of Lagosians has been tremendous. Everywhere the governor went during the celebration, he was met by joyous Lagosians appreciating what he's done. The Mother and Child Hospital was commissioned in Etiosa local government. The housing estate in Igondo, Jakande Garden, was commissioned, and there was a new reorientation about waste management and waste disposal. And there were free surgery for thousands of Lagosians. I mean, it was a record of achievement that the governor reeled out on that occasion.
Do you think that 100 days is enough? Why do we sustain this tradition? Some would argue that hardly anything could be done in the first 100 days. It's just 100 days, especially because the commissioners were inaugurated just weeks ago. Do you think that the tradition of celebrating 100 days is overflogged?
Well, I don't see anything wrong with it, because any governor coming into office will have planned his program before coming in. So in 100 days, he or she will have been able to do one or two things for people to see that it's in the ground running, and that is competent, and that all his campaign promises is going to be able to do them, to keep them. And that is why in Lagos we said our own is 100 days and beyond. Okay. It's also an occasion for you to tell people that you won't forget everything that you said during the campaigns, and you are going to keep your promises.
Our State House correspondent, Lagos State government correspondent is here, Maureen Ogolo. Maureen, tell us, you've been covering this government, in fact, governments in the state for quite some time now. What can you see when you talk about what the governor said that he has achieved in the last 100 days, and what you can see? What are those things that you can tell us about his achievement in the last 100 days?
Well, so far, with what the governor has said, at the inception of his administration, which was a milestone, he said he will make sure that this Lagos will achieve a greater Lagos. That's what he said. Right. And so far, I can't really say that he's just starting. Right. He has just started, and I'm sure we'll be expecting more things from him. Now, I remember when he first came in, we had the challenges of trash and dirt, filth on the road. Right. And that was a challenge we had in Lagos State. And he came in, and within a few days, he gave the Loma guys 24 hours to make sure that all filth were cleared on the road. And today we are all enjoying it today. At least Lagos State is a bit clean, though we still have the little bit of challenges of the dirt being on the road. Right. But I believe the Lagos State government are still trying their best to make sure that the state is rid of debt. Now we talk about traffic. We also had the challenges of traffic in the state. There are a lot of places, like we have the place in Victoria Island, right, where you have to be in traffic for hours before you get to your office. Right. We also have I stay in Ikorodu. I know how long I have to stay from my bus stop just to get out of my 12. I know how we suffered. I know I have to wake up as early as 3 to leave my house to get to the office. But it's fair now with the rehabilitation of roads that were commenced when he came in. I think it's fair now. The roads are being okay. Though the little thing now is that a lot of people, I know a lot of the passes are really clamoring for the governor to go into inner road. That's the streets. Right. This is one of the things Ambode did when he came in. He did 114 inner routes, which most people enjoyed. But today, I think due to the local contractors which were giving the contracts to, those roads didn't last at all. So those roads are
substandard roads built. So those roads are back to their bad states now. So I think he has the one thing Sanwo-Olu will really have to make positive for the people now is the roads. A lot of especially inner roads, right?
Inner roads, and a lot of places are yet to be touched from the government. We have Ijede Road, which is still really in bad shape. So
amongst other roads,
yes,
especially like you said, those inner roads really bad. So Ijede is just one of the places, because I went to Ijede. Why I mentioned Ijede was because there was a hospital, free medical care which they give in the Ijede General Hospital. Right. There was a free medical care operation for those who had
the 100 in 100.
Yes.
Right.
So I went there, and my God, I experienced. I was in traffic for close to 3 hours.
And traffic is one of the things that the governor planned to deal with.
Yes.
One of those issues also, Mr. Gbenga Motosho, talking about
Yes.
traffic was that the governor during his campaign emphasized on Apapa traffic. We can't quote him about every other road, but we have on record that particularly for the Apapa traffic. He said that during the debate, the governorship debate, that he was going to fix that in 100 days, and that he was also going to fix traffic in low-hanging, what you call low-hanging areas, about 23 of these across Lagos.
Right.
Traffic is still a big issue in Lagos right now. So do you think the 100 days have been a success still?
Yeah, in terms of talking about traffic, it's not been bad, because if you look at Apapa in particular, it used to be one terrible area that nobody wished to go to. Trailers, long queues of trailers as long as coming from Apapa to Surulere to the stadium up to Fadeyi area, but those queues are no longer there now. It's not that there are no challenges. The challenges are there, but they are being tackled every day.
Right.
And then more creative ways are being found into the traffic everywhere around town. Last month, people have been ordered to walk up till 11 p.m., and they are doing that. And then roads are being fixed. Traffic is flowing in so many areas, but we are still not yet there. Because you have to consider that Lagos is a mega city. Thousands of vehicles coming into Lagos every day.
But the governor anticipated this traffic, this growth, especially in population when he was contesting. And we can, emphasize on the traffic issue because it affects every Lagosian. And if this has not been resolved in the past 100 days, I mean, what does it say about the potential of resolving it? Is it possible to resolve it, or were those just promises that can't be fulfilled?
It's possible to resolve it. It's an all-encompassing solution that the government is finding to it by improving the waterways so that people can do water transportation more than before, making it more attractive than it used to be, by working on the railway, the metro line, they are back, contractors are back on Lagos-Badagry expressway. That's a major road that when you are stuck on that road, it affects other roads, and then the inner roads too are going to be attended to. And I believe that when all of these are done, that we are going to have a smoother flow of traffic.
Indeed. Rotimi, very quickly, let me come to you. I have to say this very clearly. I'm not a big fan of 100 days in office because, in my opinion, what can you get done? Even if you have all the plans in the world that you want to do, we're talking about just 3 months. What significantly can you say that you can do as a governor? You're building schools. How long does it take to erect buildings? How long does it take to, fix roads? Except if you're going to just complete abandoned projects and all of that. Can you indeed now say that it's what you do or what you've done in 100 days? What's your opinion really about, assessing governors or the president in 100 days and judging them by that?
I don't think much really can be assessed in 100 days beyond understanding or appreciating what the priorities of a government are. Beyond that, I don't think really a lot can be achieved in 100 days. I think it's probably too soon to judge the Lagos governor or any governor. I think, the low-hanging fruit issues, yes, you can see the direction, like refuse collection, those kind of things. There's been a bit of progress, still some way to go. I'm sure even the government will acknowledge that there's still some way to go, especially around areas like waste to wealth, waste to power, more efficiency. But the fact that the waste collectors are working almost 24 hours.
Right.
They are going to areas where previously waste was not collected. All those things are signs of progress. But beyond that, I don't think much can be assessed. On the public square last Friday, the majority of callers called to complain that traffic, roads, that even roads that are fixed go bad again very quickly. The governor needs to look into that. The gridlock has improved in some places, but in many places it has not. The governor needs to look a lot into that. But the big big legacy projects, for instance, water in Lagos. I mean, I've always advocated that Lagos should build water, desalination plants. We are surrounded by water, ocean, lagoon, but almost every house has to do a borehole. If Lagos does desalination plants and does a central water system, whoa! First of all, I mean, the amount of employment it will generate, never mind making the state better.
Yeah.
Right.
Lagos should push for capacity to generate most of its own power. It is something that has to be addressed by the federal government, and Lagos needs it the most. So there are big areas like that. Education. I mean, we all talk of Jakonde today. Anywhere you go, there is a Jakonde estate, there is a Jakonde school, there is a Jakonde this, and I mean, that level of strategic urban planning is what the current governor needs to address, so that at the end of his tenure, he doesn't have to beat his chest. Everybody will be saying, Sanwo-Olu school, Sanwo-Olu estate, Sanwo-Olu medical
people
center.
can see
So
it.
he doesn't even have to name it after himself.
Yeah,
Jakonde
people
didn't
would
name
know.
those things
Yeah.
after. So these are the kind of legacy projects that the governor should be concentrating
Talking
on.
about naming, Mr. Motosho, on Friday, the Igondo housing estate that was inaugurated, I had to send a message to Maureen when I saw the tweet on the state governor's handle, which says that the governor had inaugurated a newly built housing estate. I said, wow, did the governor build a housing estate in 100 days? Then I realized it's the same Igondo rent-to-own housing project that ribbons were cut over. So please explain to us. That housing project was started in 2012. In fact, Lagosians had bid for that in 2012, even during Ambade's tenure. So when the governor tells us that he completed the Igondo housing estate, what exactly does that mean? Because in our records here, that project was completed and people were already paying sums to get their flats.
No, the project wasn't completed at all. If it was completed, the government would not have gone there to say that it completed it. We all saw it. We all knew what it was. Like you said, it was begun in 2012. But the government felt that government is a continuum. Past governors of Lagos, they've been following a master plan of how to improve the state, of how to develop the state in terms of infrastructure and in terms of human development. And that master plan is there for every governor that comes in to follow. So if a project has been there since 2012, it is incumbent on the governor to complete such a project. And that's what the governor did.
How many
100 days.
percent?
And it says so.
How many percent complete was that project when the governor came in?
Of course, so many. I wouldn't like to talk in terms of arithmetic now, but so many contractors were there, and then it's like they abandoned the project. So
But
when
the houses were built and painted, and people had paid money for those flats, which is what leaves me with a question: what was there to complete? Why isn't the governor allocating the flats to those who had paid instead of cutting ribbons over those buildings?
Of course, in Lagos, paying money doesn't mean that the house is ready. People subscribe. There are so many subscribers. There are people on the queue. So it's not as if the houses were already completed and it just went there to repaint them. That's not true. They were abandoned. And from my own knowledge, there are some other ones in Lagos like that have been there for years and nobody is touching them, and hoodlums have taken over them. But this government is going to complete them.
I'm glad that you
I
mentioned.
saw some on Saturday.
I'm glad that you mentioned other houses, and that brings us to the point of deficit in terms of housing in the state. What is the plan really to complete those abandoned projects, housing project? I mean, in Lagos State, or what exactly is the plan to make sure that Lagosians have affordable housing?
Yeah, the plan is to increase the number of homes that are available to Lagosians year in, year out by building more houses, by completing the old ones.
Any projections on number of housing units that
Needed
are planned?
to be built, yeah.
I don't have figures right here.
Okay, we'll have to come back to you for figures because on the morning crossfire we do figures. Listeners ask a lot of questions, and back to the housing project thing. Is there a plan to then allocate these houses now that the governor says it's not ready? I would have loved to know how many percent complete it was, because I did a video on those buildings in Igondo. Those houses were painted and ready, at least from the outside. So maybe some fittings in the flats needed to be done. Maureen.
Those houses were actually completed.
Exactly.
But there were little things like the toilet fittings, the bathroom fittings that were not installed. Now, being abandoned for years, hoodlums took advantage of this and catered away with a lot of these things, the toilet fittings, the windows fittings and all that. They took a lot of things from that building, leaving that building in a state of in short, in a
not habitable.
Yes,
because the buildings were not allocated over the years.
Allocated. The issue with the past administration was those were one of the challenges we were having. It wasn't like the Fashola era where we come in like a town hall meeting where a kind of a ballot box or what do you call it? Lottery.
You roll the papers
and people get to pick. But the last administration was like
that's the Amber Days administration.
Yes, the administration Amber Day administration was like the highest bidder, whoever gets it first. That was how it was for the Amber Day administration. So I think this present administration is going to go back to the Fashola era where we have to have the ballot whatever, where people throw in their names and whoever the governor picks gets the house.
Don't you think the problem was also the affordability of those housing units? They were quite pricey for Lagosians.
Lagosians complained about that, and I think that was one of the questions the governor was asked. Why are the houses so expensive? Is it because the houses are expensive? That's why people are not really having these houses. And he said no. It's not that. The houses are already allocated, and very soon people will be going into their houses. But what he said is that whether we like it or not, definitely, prices of things are going up. Cements are also going up. So we have to understand the fact that it is still affordable, and people will still get affordable houses.
Would like to know how affordable those houses would be. There are also housing estates at Ikorodu. I've seen those also massive where no one is living. We've asked that question before right here on the Morning Crossfire, and we had officials from the Lagos State government also here, and I wonder why those houses are just there and no one is living there when people do need houses. We need to go on a very short break, just a minute break, and we will be back shortly. Mr. Gbega Motosho is the Commissioner for Information and Strategy. He's joining us via the phone, telling us what the governor has been able to achieve in the past 100 years, and also he'll be projecting what the government plans to do going forward, what Lagosians should expect from the governor. And he's saying these are not just promises, there are things that will be done. You would also be able to speak with him because we'll open the phone lines just in a minute. Rotimi Sankore is here. Our state correspondent Maureen Ogolo is also here. Just 1 minute and we will be back. Mr. Motosho, could you please hold the line for 1 minute? We'll be back with you shortly, Nigerian.
Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Right here is the Morning Crossfire, 99.3 Nigeria Info. Thank you for holding the line, Mr. Benga Motosha, Commissioner for Information and Strategy. People, we're live on Facebook, also on YouTube. We see all your comments. We'll read them shortly and also open the phone lines so you can speak with the Commissioner, who will be able to answer some of your questions about the plans of the administration for the next 4 years. We have our State House correspondent, Maureen Ogolo. You've been through how many tenures in Lagos State?
2.5.
2.5. So she's a pro when it comes to assessing what's going on. There is no special advisor for media in this administration. How does that make you feel?
I think it was just the last Ambode administration that we had a special advisor
On media.
Yeah.
How do you rate the relationship between this administration with the media, with correspondents at the State House, compared to others?
Big difference. We had a major challenge with the last administration, with the Ambole administration. They were not ready to speak with us. It has to do with one-on-one. Okay, if you know this particular commissioner, then you have access to it. But in terms of relationship, okay, please, can you react to this? No, it was a major challenge. And
is this a better?
It's
improvement
a lot
this
better.
time around?
Yes. Well, let's just say
The man is on the phone. You can
Is
tell him.
yes, it's a lot better. At least I know I've had a WhatsApp chat with Mr. Motosho, and he responded. Unlike the previous administration, when you chat, is like, that's your business. I don't know who you are, but it's a lot better.
Things have changed.
Yes,
Mr. Motosho, very quickly, let me come to you. Let's talk roads. I know you mentioned it in passing. A lot of roads are bad in Lagos, and I know that some of the things that the governor said was just to make sure that the traffic is reduced, tremendously, and you cannot reduce traffic if the roads are bad. Any plan to fix at least remedial measures to put those roads manageable states? I mean, our roads in Lagos. Any plan at all?
Yeah, the Public Works Department has been revived, and they go out every day, and they even have a list of roads that they are going to fix in a week. So I'm appealing to Lagosians that if they have not gotten into your area, just take it easy, they'll be there.
In a week, you said?
Yeah, every week. They bring out a list of roads that they are going to fix.
Okay.
Potholes here and there, not just massive, major works on roads, not. Just potholes to fix and make.
Is it possible to have a schedule of the repairs?
Yeah, so we can tell Lagosians when the public works will be in the area. We can monitor these things. If we have a breakdown, a timeline,
It's always released.
Well, I will get back to you on that.
Okay, I would follow up.
I used to see it on Facebook myself before I got into the government.
Okay.
That this week, the Public Works Department will be going to so place.
Okay.
When we get in touch with them, I then send you a list of such roads.
All right, that would work.
Nice.
There are rumors that there is no money to run this administration, and that's why things are a bit slow. It's in the pipeline, saying there is no money. There's no money to work with. So things might be a bit slow. Is there money in the coffers of the Lagos States?
Lagos State has been able to fulfill its obligations financially. The state is solvent, but in terms of money, it can never be enough. That is why the administration is going to do a lot about internal revenue. It's not going to go to sleep and say that because this is Lagos, the obligations are very huge, so the resources too must come in hugely. So that is why the government is going to do a lot about internal revenue.
Is this why the governor raised the penalties and fines for traffic offences? That was the first thing the governor did when he came into the office. Don't you think that's a bit too stringent?
No, it's not. It's not because of that. But you will agree with me that much of what we are talking about traffic deadlock is caused by the irresponsibility of some of our fellow Lagosians who park their vehicles on the road and begin to holler for passengers, who will not obey traffic signs, who will not stop at road junctions where you have traffic lamps. So it's just for people to know that it's not good to flout the law, not for financial gains.
Indeed. Mr. Motosho, let me also ask you this in light of what we're talking about now, which is, of course, revenue for the state. You've said that the state is not broke, and I would really love to, agree with you on that one. But how about multiple taxation? What is the state going to do to make sure that, business owners, MSMEs, the small business owners, have conducive atmosphere to do business and not being overtaxed, officially and unofficially? What is the state government doing in this regard?
Unofficially put in that bracket, Agberos.
Yeah, the government is going to do a lot about that because we are talking of a greater Lagos, of a smart city. If people are being overtaxed, it's not going to work for everybody. So the government is going to streamline all the taxes so that your responsibility to local government, your responsibility to state government. All I can say is that this is a business-friendly government and it's not going to overtax anybody. But there are plans to see how we can raise internally generated revenue. And the governor has said so that rather than, he said so during his 100 days speech, that rather than overburdening people with taxes, the tax net is going to be widened so that more people can come in. And the thinking is that when people see what the government is doing with their money, they will be willing to pay.
Indeed.
Absolutely. Before we head to the phones, Rotimi, one of the things the governor celebrated was forming his cabinet. And you might say that's worthy of celebration because 19 of 29 governors sworn in this year don't have cabinets yet. Lagos State is one of the 10 that formed their cabinets. And these states are Lagos, Sokoto, Kaduna, Borno, Benue, Oyo, Imo, Delta, Akwa Ibom, and Ebonyi. Governors currently without cabinet include Abia, Kano, Kebbi, Katsina, Bauchi, Yobe, Adamawa, Taraba, Gombe, Kwara, Enugu, Plateau, Nasarawa, Niger, Ogun, Cross River, Jigawa, Zamfara, and Rivers State. So it is something to celebrate.
Well, we don't know yet. We'll have to see how the commissioners perform and the advisors. At least we have Benga Motosho on the line.
Speaking with us.
So at least in his own case, he is engaging.
Yes.
So far, I hope he won't withdraw.
We hope so. We hope so too.
But there is something big area which it could have been much better, even from the beginning. Honestly, this is Lagos. There could have been more women in the cabinet. There could have been more women advisors. I think it's something that the governor didn't pay enough attention to.
Right, let's give you the phone numbers. We can see your messages on Facebook. Mr. Benga Motosho is here to answer your questions. Our WhatsApp line is also open. 08095975805. 08095975805. If you want to join us over the phones, here are the numbers.
Call us on 0127709993, 0127719993, 0127729993, and 0127739993. This is Nigeria Info. We are listening.
This is Nigeria Info. We are listening. Would like you to keep your comments as short as possible.
As short, please.
On WhatsApp, Taufik says, for me, he has not achieved anything on traffic in 100 days in office. Some things just need directives. Something like traffic control. Come to Ikeja Long, Iyanopaja, and so on, and see man-made traffic gridlock that you just need task force to come and enforce the traffic law at certain hours, say between 6 a.m. and 11 and between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. He says he believes this would work. Mr. Nkankuk on WhatsApp also says, good morning, Wemimo, Sankore and crew. How does the governor plan to upgrade marine commercial transport to decongest traffic on our roads? Mr. Motosho, what's the plan for this very crucial issue, marine transport?
So, marine transport, like I have said before, is part of the strategies to decongest roads. During these 100 days in office, the government didn't even make noise about that. New life jackets were given out to those operating such services so that people could be encouraged and have confidence to go by boat to wherever they can get to around Lagos. But we are not making so much noise about that. Because
but we actually need bigger ferries.
Yes.
Much bigger ferries.
That can move more people.
Yes, at least a dozen of them in Lagos.
Right. Let's speak with Olumuyiwa is calling us from Aja. Good morning. Hello?
Olumiwa, good morning. Can you hear us?
We can't hear you. Deji from First Sec on WhatsApp says the governor said he would take care of tankers parked on highways, turning 3-lane highways into single lanes. It took Agberos, not the governor, to ease the traffic. The roads from Mautu to Badagry is a horror story, better imagined than described. We have not had water for most of his 100 days with attendant health implications. In terms of security, police stations themselves in Jakonde Estate, Amuwodofin, are harassing residents, but shots are still being fired throughout the day. Cases of theft, vandalism of electricity infrastructure is on the rise.
Ekundaya from Ikorodu is here with us. Ekundaya, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Sharif and Wemimo and Sankore.
Good morning.
And by extension, good morning to Mr. Benga Motosho.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I just want to drop this comment, but I implore you to take it to the governor. The transportation issue is very, very huge in Lagos State. But I think that with discipline and some organizations, about a week ago, I learned that there will be a new legislation for Okada riders in Lagos. I mean, if there is organization and discipline, I think that the transportation issues, it will be minimized. It cannot be eradicated. Right. Now, the comment I have is with the issue of the NURTW. And Wemimo just spoke my mind. I mean, what goes on in our bus stops is extortion and criminality. You know, we are talking about taxation, and the president Buhari said some time ago that he wants to lift 100 million people out of poverty. Now, when people are extorted like this, there are all forms of taxes by government, by agencies of government. Now, the NURTW. They are a law unto themselves.
Right. Thank you so very much.
People.
Thank you so much for your comment. Please, let's keep our comments short. There's so many people on the line. Onome is here from Aja. Onome, good morning.
Onome, good morning. Can you hear us?
I guess. Oh, and that's a lady. I would have loved to hear from you.
Hello, good morning to you.
Okay.
Hold on. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, Chief Quadry, all protocol observed.
Welcome, sir.
Sir Rotimi, thank you. You are making a case for the women. Nigeria Info have allocated the line to them, right?
Yes, that's we have.
That's
we walk the talk, right?
Yes. Mr. Benga, I want to plead with you, please. Be close to Nigeria Info. They will help you a lot in carrying out your job. But one thing I don't understand is this Osborne Road. Hello, Mr. Benga?
Go on, please.
Yes, sir.
The resurfacing of Osborne Road. I think before now, that road is okay. You go to Milverton, very close to where our governor always come out from. Milverton Road is so bad. Can they do something about it? Please, thank you.
Thank you so very much. Mr. Motoshaw is taking notes. Prince on WhatsApp says the Godo House was 65% ready before Fashola before Ambode abandoned it. My company provided some services during construction. The outside was only painted before Fashola left. Wow. Peter is reaching us from Finland. Thank you for joining. It says, what is the government's plan to construct Ijagemo to Ijegun Road? It says, Abida Road, no day master plan.
Mr. Motoshaw, can you respond to that?
Yeah, specifically, I don't. I know there is a road, Ijegun Road. I'm not sure about that now, but I think it's one of the roads that was that were mentioned last week for the government's attention. Okay. All I know is that very soon there will be a huge rollout of machines to reconstruct and construct roads, because it's one of the major priorities of this administration.
All right, Martins is here from Maryland. Martins, good morning to you.
Good morning, Nigeria Info.
Good morning, Martins.
Yeah, just a quick one. Now, for me, I think 100 days is too short for any leader to take glory or take accolade.
But many of them reeled out plans and things they would achieve in 100 days. So I think they put themselves on the spot.
Yeah, so let them keep on doing that. The end will tell. Because it's not how you start. It's how you're able to sustain and then make a better end.
Right.
For people to see, and then you can start evaluating, you can start beating your chest and then say, I have done this, I have done that.
Right.
Now, for traffic in Lagos, it's not all about the people driving on the road, drivers and all that. Some government institutions, example is the agberos on the road. You need to see what these guys do on the road sometimes because they want to take 50 or 100 naira from these buses. And nobody is saying anything about that. Nobody is looking into it.
Right. Okay, thank you so much. Facebook is beaming. I don't know where to start from. Let's take this one from... Oh, Joseph Oseni is watching from Kaduna. Thanks for joining. We have here Ayodele Ayola who says, good morning all. Please tell the Lagos State representatives if they are fixing the roads, it should be fixed properly. Not just using big stones in potholes, which will be removed 4 or 5 days later. Says, come to Bariga Unilag Road. The road is an apology. Stones were used and they've all been washed away.
Right.
Yemi Abiola Adeleye says, 100 days achievement and counting commissioning of projects is an achievement. For me, as an achievement is misplaced priority. We should start with quick wins like trailer parks on the bridges, road patches, security challenges and lawlessness of Okada riders.
Let's talk to Victor. He's calling us from Lagos Island. Victor, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Morning.
Good morning, Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
everyone. Yeah, sorry, what I actually want to contribute about this issue is all about, because I know it's not easy about this completed projects in Lagos State. Because number one, when you look at health issue, like when you look at the general government hospitals around, because what I actually hear is like, they don't even, the government don't even care about them anymore. You look at what happened, no more equipment. Even when you go to get a lack of service of doctors and other, maybe they are saying no more. They're having sort of staff and other things. So people die a lot and other. I just want governors to look at all those things at least. When you even look at the way the place was kind of poor, as in the place was, so it's not like looking as if they are really, the government are really concerned about them.
Right.
There's nothing like that.
Okay.
Even as at me, I'm a kind of abandoned project from, let me say, Governor Ambode.
You are?
So I'm kind of abandoned project. Then they actually picked me, the place I was working, because I actually work in the site, so I have an health challenge. I'm actually a sickle cell.
Okay.
So he just abandoned me to the hospital. Then he was having this impeaching issue. So since then, I was just abandoned. Nobody was come. I just have to be discharged.
Sorry to hear that. So sorry to hear that. On Facebook, Bartholomew Agada Obasi says, it says, what's the name of the guest with the red pen in his hand? Oh, that's Rotimi Sankore. Says you can find him on Twitter. I'm not sure Rotimi is on Facebook, but he's on Twitter at Rotimi Sankore. Tonye Mark Pepple says, nothing is happening. The governor's presence is not being felt. The whole Lekki is in darkness. The street lights are not working. That's across Lagos, by the way.
Yeah.
Many parts of Lagos. Tobechuku Ofili says, please help me ask the commissioner why he's here to pay the minimum wage. He promised to pay. Kaduna has also promised to pay. Why is Lagos delaying? Mr. Motosho, the minimum wage, what's the plan? When will Lagos State start paying?
Is there a plan for Lagos to start to pay that minimum wage?
Yeah, there are plans. But right now I cannot tell you what is going on because the new government has just come in. There is the finance commissioner who is new, and everything is just being put together now to see the state's obligations, how to fulfill them, and all that. And I believe that the minimum wage issue is a top priority because government is a worker-friendly administration.
Mr. Motosha will be back when these timelines are ready.
We have to go now because I have a meeting.
Oh yes, I do understand.
From my office at 9.
I do understand that. Well, thank you very much for joining us,
Thank
Mr.
you so much,
Gbenga Motosho. It has a meeting for 9. We don't want you to be late.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Gbenga Motosho is a Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Lagos State. Thank you so much for joining us. But the phone lines are still buzzing.
Let's speak with Beda is here. Right. Good morning to you.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, please, I just want to advise the Honorable Commissioner. They should look at the nuisance being constituted by the yellow buses. If they can do that, 70% of the traffic situation in Lagos will be solved. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have on WhatsApp, Avitin CJ from Badagry says, my question for your guest is, what does this government have for the infrastructure in Badagry areas? Most of our primary and secondary schools are congested. Says we have about 120 students in a class to one teacher. Wow, that's shocking.
Indeed.
Okay, this is from Wale, who's reaching us from Aja on WhatsApp. Says, good morning, everyone. Last night, there was a cult war on Ado Road in Aja at Okeria and Kekere axis, sporadic gunshots, theft, destruction of cars and shops. Yet the police station at Ado only harass private cars.
I was going to ask the commissioner that question before he
he
excused himself, because the issue of cultism in Lagos is quite alarming.
Yeah, Rotimi, what do you think can be done urgently about this cultism?
Well, as always, one of the big solutions to anything that involves young people is more education, more vocational training, more job skills.
Get them engaged.
Yes, and you see, one of the ways in which the more developed countries soak up unemployment is through massive investments in public housing, public transport, electricity, water. If you look at the deficits in Nigeria, 18 million housing deficits, less than 10% of water supply centrally. We're at 5,000 megawatts when we should be at 200,000. Closing that gap, both in terms of service, maintenance, administrative jobs, even manufacturing, will hundreds of thousands of people will have jobs.
Let's speak with Charles. He's been on the line for a while from Lekki. Charles, good morning.
Hello, Charles.
Okay, Charles, we can't hear you on that line.
Let's take this one. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
This is Onome.
Welcome, Onome.
Yes. You called
I
earlier.
wanted to ask the Honorable Commissioner before he left. There is this issue about Ambody. People said Ambody wanted to be his man, and that was why he was removed as governor. So people have attributed the slow pace of development, especially under Sanwo-Olu, to the fact that he is not in charge. I wanted to ask the commissioner, is Sanwo-Olu in charge of Lagos, or is there someone else?
That's a good question. He'll be back. You can trust us on Nigeria Info, and we'll be able to ask him more questions. Prince YS is here from Amuwo Dolphin. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Morning.
And everybody in the studio. Is Commissioner still in your studio?
Is who? The commissioner.
The commissioner.
He has excused himself.
He had
he was
to
on the phone line.
Yeah, he's gone for a meeting.
Oh, wow. But maybe he's still listening to you. I thought, when you talk of foreign days in office, only the new governor can be talking of foreign days in office. The second-time governor, they can only talk of continuity. And in Lagos State now, what I want the commissioner to tell the governor is about those potholes. Every other thing, majority have an alternative. But no alternative for bad roads. If roads are bad, you can't fly over the roads.
Right.
And when you go around all Lagos State, it seems to me, for the past 4 years, there's no repair on the roads. Look at Lagos Badagry Expressway, where the governor say he wants to start. Yes, he has started, and I want him to fix the road in a very certain time.
Right. Thank you so very much, Prince Wise. We need to keep it brief because of our time. Let's speak with Mama K from Ejigbo. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
I feel like giving you a shekere. Thanks for calling. You're the first female on the show. Good to have you here.
You're welcome. I'm calling. You're talking about 100 days of Sanwo-Olu in Lagos State, right?
That's right.
He has not done anything. Nothing has been done. According to me, I've not seen him doing anything. He's just going here and there, just going up and down, doing nothing. I've not seen anything. We've not seen anything in this Ejigbo at all. The roads are bad. The in front of the local government of Ejigbo is is bad, terribly bad. They just put some big stones on the road there that you have to spend about 1 hour or 2 hours before you can get to Jakonde, from Ejibo to Jakonde. It's terrible. They are not doing anything. I don't know what APC is doing in Lagos State.
All right, thank you. On Twitter, Ifeyiwa Abanigbo says, but the Omotosho man, that's Mr. Omotosho, has little or no information as regard why he's on air. It says no figures. He kept saying, I think. Well, Mutaz Amikisu says, since the days of Governor Fashola, who said that building social housing was too expensive because of the cost of building materials, the Lagos State government had painfully got his housing priorities so wrong. They couldn't build massive housing, but they're building Jubilee houses for the rich. Wow. A great comment there. Also on Twitter, Emmanuel Olofintu says, I would commend the Sanwo-Olu administration for a job well done within his first 100 days. But what surprised me the most is that Igodo housing estate has been completed since last year. So what did Sanwo-Olu complete again? Those are the questions we've also tried to answer.
Isaac is here from Aja. Isaac, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah. Badagry I believe Badagry is not part of Lagos State. The reason being that over the weekend I was at Badagry, and you need to see the situation of the road. And then
but the information we get is that work has started on that road. Is that not true?
That work has started since last year, and it looks like they work in a day, they go and rest for 2 weeks or 3 or 1 month.
Wow.
That's it. And then
do you know the name of the contractor working on that road? Hello?
Isaac?
I didn't bother myself checking the name.
Oh, you need to bother yourself and check.
There's a big signboard.
Yeah, there's a big signboard. Next time you call us, get us the name of that contractor. Everyone, if your roads are being fixed and they're not showing up, call us and mention the names. That's why we're here.
Exactly.
Mention their
There
names.
is something that we really need to emphasize. Lagos needs dozens and dozens of giant ferries that can move hundreds of people at a time.
Yeah.
You can even drive onto those ferries with your car.
Right.
This kekemawa on the water that people are using now, that they claim is ferry, those are not ferries. Those are canoes with engines.
Let's take a camera on water.
Some will also argue that maybe there is need for dredging of our waterways in Lagos first before.
Some of those ferries can go on shallow water now.
Yeah.
There are different designs of them.
That's right.
Some have
That's
capacity for deep water. Some have capacity for shallow water. These ferries exist. All we need to do is buy them.
Right. Oluborode is here. Oluborode, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
You're calling the wrong line. I thought that was a female. That line is meant only for female
Just
callers.
for female callers
please.
Only. Sorry.
Okay, let's head back to Facebook on our way out. Yemi Abiola says, we should remember that schools were on vacation and that contributed largely to improved traffic movement. Says now schools are back in session. We will now start checking if there's truly an improvement in traffic management from today. Yeah, thumbs up to you.
I saw that this morning.
Absolutely. Okay. Ariza Chiku Ejike says, very bad. I don't know if Badagry is part of Lagos because no one is talking about that area. We just talked about it.
Right.
So, let's see. Falade Bamidele says, Abule Egba down to Tollgate Abeokuta Road is a death trap. Please, Lagos State government, do things. Roads.
Roads.
Everywhere. Can we take a final call before we go?
Can we?
I think we can.
Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yes,
good morning.
Okay, my name is Noye.
You see, it's our lucky lie. Welcome, Noye.
Thank you. I want to talk about security.
Okay.
Yes, please.
On this our road along Yano School in Ojo local government down to Isashi, there are these boys that used to rob in the afternoon. They go to these paga shops and rob them of their money. Sometimes they go with guns, in the afternoon like this.
Broad daylight.
So, broad daylight. This can happen that way. I don't know. We are constantly in fear in this area.
How often does this happen?
Sometimes 1 week interval, they'll just come raid all the paga shops, Sometimes go into people's compounds,
Do you have police presence in that area at all?
Yeah, there is a police station at Isashi. But there is another one around I don't know. But we have policemen standing somewhere between Olaiya on that road,
right,
extorting motorists and all that.
So they are busy extorting, they can't deal with the issue.
Yes,
thanks for bringing that to our attention. We'll have more of these conversations so that you can express yourself more and more. But we must go now. Big thanks to Mr. Gbenga Motosho. We're glad that he spoke with us. Shows that he's open to questions. We hope the next time he comes, he has more figures for us so we can look at the blueprint of what the governor plans to do. He's a commissioner for information and strategy, Lagos State. Rotimi Sankore is the man with the red pen. For those of you watching on Facebook, he's on Twitter at Rotimi Sankore. Maureen Ogolo is our State House correspondent, and she covers everything you hear on Nigeria Info about the governor and what he's doing is covered by Maureen Ogolo. Thanks, Maureen, for coming in. Nigeria, thank you for joining the show. Big thanks to Tosi Akeride, Yvonne Haifor, and Zainab Yakin for assisting on the show. We will be back tomorrow morning. Tunji Andrews will be in here in a bit with money, business, and economy. I'm on social media at Wemimo Sport, where we can keep talking. And my name is Wemimo Adewuni.
I'm on social media at Sheriff Quadry on all platforms. And yes, my name is Sheriff Quadry as well.
We'll see you tomorrow.
From your number one talk news and sports station. This is the Morning Crossfire with Wemimo and Sheriff.